Welcome to the 26th edition of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. It's the 8th episode of Season 3. We are the show who compares and contrasts Fallout experiences through a lively roundtable discussion by playing through the same quest with characters who've been randomly assigned dramatically different attributes. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you, Paul. Hey, this is Pat, your host for tonight. Joined by guest play along participant Paul. Thank you for jumping us off there. And we also have Andrew in the room tonight. Andrew, how you doing?
Hi, Pat. What's going on? Hey, Paul. How you guys doing tonight?
Doing great.
It's just a lovely night.
That's right. So here we are. We are sort of getting toward the tail end of June. Just summer, just officially turned summer, and we're going to be talking about 3 quests from the Tales of the Commonwealth mod that we're featuring in the roundtable this season. As Paul said, this is episode 8. It feels we have had a busy roundtable. 8 episodes, a lot of terrific listener feedback, play along participants. So tonight we are going to talk about the house that Bruce built. We're going to talk about 2-lane blacktop, and we're going to cover full exposure.
Yes,
those are our 3 quests here. A couple of them fairly short. One of them a little more to it. Has to traipse it around the Commonwealth a little bit. Mm-hmm. So, but before we jump in, it's always good just to check in with one another. Maybe Paul. I think we always like to know when people jump on. Sort of what's your Fallout experience? Are you a long timer? Is Fallout 4 the first one you've done? What's been your Fallout experience?
This is the first Fallout game I've ever played. Got it back in December, just before Christmas, and the place where I used to work shuts down between Christmas and New Year's, so I played it very heavily for that week, and played it through until March when the mods came out, and then been playing with a lot of mods since then.
Nice. So, it must be on one of the consoles, Xbox, I guess.
PC.
PC. Okay, all right. Okay. When you said mods came out, I thought maybe you were talking about the release of mods for one of the consoles.
Oh, when they officially came out in March. I didn't load any of until they officially came out. Nice.
Well, good. That's all. I mean, it's good to get anybody with any experience. But I don't know. It feels a little more cool to get somebody into the game for the first time. We got Michelle is hanging out in the chat as well, so everybody say hi to Michelle.
Yeah, we speaking of mods, early on you said the release of mods. I remember back before Pat and I were even on the Fallout feed, they had some, I think Ryan was his name, and Jack and a couple of those guys who hosted the show way back in the day before Pat and I hopped on. I know Ryan was big into modding, and he, even before mods were like official and stuff, he was tearing the game apart, like putting all sorts of crazy mods on even before they were like anything was official or supported or anything. He was just going crazy with that stuff. I remember he built like an Institute bunker before I'd even been to the Institute yet. So I didn't even, it was like a spoiler to me to see all these perfect golden, or not golden, but like, really clean hallways and everything. It was pretty awesome. But yeah, no, the official mods are, speaking of mods, Paul, mm-hmm. You have inspired me. When I load up my roundtable character, I kind of try to put a cap on the mod, so I'm not, messing around a lot during the season because I don't want to break the character. Well, this character kind of got broken at one point, so I was just kind of like, well, fuck it, whatever. So you in your feedback were talking about having being inspired by me with liking lots of followers, but you found mods that would add tons of followers. So I, in turn, took your inspiration and flipped it back around. And now I have the mod you were talking about. Now I have all of the normal 13 in-game followers following me, and the guy from Far Harbor, got old Longfellow from Far Harbor. We got Ada from Automatron. We've got and I killed the guy. I killed Gage from.
Oh.
Yeah, so I can't have him, but I did build a couple of extra robots just for safekeeping, so I can have a Mr. Wigglesworth with me. at all times, because Susan, my character has to have a Mr. Wigglesworth. Oh, and I don't know if I mentioned it before, guys, but Laura pointed out that in order to be a right proper British lass, that Susan would not need a baseball bat, but a cricket bat in order to whack things around the Commonwealth with. So I loaded up a mod, and finally, it took forever. It took, I don't know, a good few weeks before the first one even popped up randomly. But I found one, and then today, a few weeks later, I found my first one that was a legendary drop that had legendary effects on it. So I'm like, wow, that's cool. Even the mod added it in so that it could have all the legendary effects and everything.
So what legendary effect was it?
It's not an exciting one. It's the one that gives you 50% more damage against Mirelurks and bugs, I think.
Exterminators.
Terminator. Yeah.
So
it's not the most exciting effect, but it's decent. That's definitely worthwhile.
Yeah. Well, those things are tough. Can be tough with melee because their armor is so good. I
always wondered how that worked, Pat. Can you explain that to me? How Mirelurk melee works? Because with the gun, you can aim at its face, you can aim at its legs and claws, but you can avoid its shell. But with melee or unarmed, it's just you have 95% right up in. So are you hitting?
Yeah, you're going to hit it, but you can't control what body part you hit.
So can it randomly hit its face and do more damage, or how?
Yeah, it can. I have never sort of scientifically experimented, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works when you're doing melee. Is that you just hit you have a very high chance to hit, right? You have 95%, but you might get with a Mirelurk, you might get shell, you might get leg, you might get face.
Interesting.
So with that, them of course, and if you hit their shell, you get nothing. So that not literally, you get very little unless you've got like a penetrator perk or something, which is another nice way to deal with it.
So thank you, Paul, for inspiring me to just go crazy with followers. My Xbox does not. Thank you, though.
What's your frame rate? Is it measured in decimal points at this point?
Frame rate is actually not that bad. And the avoiding them to get through doors and hallways has been surprisingly great so far. I don't know why. It's if I'm in third person, it's not as easy. But if I switch to first person, I can just kind of like move around people and get to doors whenever stuff I need to. Like, you think they'd be
good on you for figuring that out. I found that if I've got one follower, they get in my way all the time.
Yeah.
That unlimited companion framework has an option where you can tell your followers to stay back.
Yeah.
So that helps.
It was nice. I also saw a mod where it lets you push your followers too, and I was like, ooh, get that one. You just evidently it gives you a command where you can just push them out of the way.
Yeah. I saw a Twitch streamer playing around with that mod one time. It was pretty funny.
It's although it's not very cordial, it's pretty useful.
There you go. Out of the way, dog meat.
Get out of the way. God, I hope you don't kick him.
I don't know. I think it's just kind of a literal two-handed shove. I don't remember.
Guys, it is great having all of these followers because every time you do anything, it's like Kate liked that, Dance hated that. I love that. It's and then whenever you pick anything up, they all have their line that says are you really going to haul that around? That's just worthless junk. What a blah 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 blah.
Ada will say yes, we should pick up everything, but as much as possible.
Curious, will it provide any scientific research? And then everyone, it's hard to hear because they all speak at once. but then inevitably, because he speaks so slowly, you always hear strong tail off at the end, bruh, 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 bruh. So,
I'm gonna have to load this mod sometime just because I can.
Oh, it's just really funny. Anytime you do anything, you pick a lock, it's you get about half of them that like it, about half of them that don't like it. You pick,
That's fun. Now, Andrew, so have you ever had the trouble on the Xbox where your notification area goes silent? You don't get those little pop-ups. Have you ever had that?
Not that I know of on the.
I get that periodically. Maybe we've talked about it before. Maybe it's because I leave my Xbox on and I'll leave it on for weeks at a time. But I will get it. It modded, unmodded, doesn't matter. Early game, late game, mid game, doesn't matter. I will go through phases where my pop-up, upper left-hand pop-up will not show anything, so it won't show you're now parched, or you're better, but you're still parched, or you're still tired, or whatever, or the dislike stuff. And when I restart, it comes back. But I'll play for a couple hours, and all of a sudden I notice, my notification corner is not working.
That's weird. That's been one of my main complaints with these Bethesda games, Pat. Is that you cannot scroll back through all of that information. There in every game like that. I've never played games quite like Skyrim and Fallout, but in any sort of large scale game that I've played in the past, you could always go back into the menu and find like a journal or something. Especially like Red Dead Redemption, you could always go back and find your journal that was just a list of all the commands that you could give in reverse order, so you could scroll back through and find, oh, that's what I missed. Oh, I can't even do that. That has always been one of my main complaints, that does not exist in Skyrim and Fallout, like a journal section of Pip-Boy.
Yeah.
Or scroll.
I guess the closest thing you have is you have two things. You have the little data section that shows like, your number of kills and pickpockets and all that stuff. And then you got your quest log, although your quest log, you lose your miscellaneous quests. So like you like you're talking about followers. So I don't always travel with a follower, but what I always do in every game, I collect the followers, and then if I don't want to deal with them, I'll send them home. But that way, I know where they are, and I've got them at my beck and call if I want them. So like today, and I've got a normal survival game going just for fun, and I collected McCready and got Curie. I'm actually running around with Curie because she's now her synth body, which is always fun.
I just did that the other day. That's really neat.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's first time I did that was a lot of fun. Getting her to transition into the synth body, and all of a sudden, wait a minute, you've got Curie in human form. So that's that. So I've got, I think, McCready's hanging around in Hangman's Alley, and Piper's at Starlight Drive-In, and so
sending people off to random places.
Yeah.
Another thing, I've got the weird bug where my settlements are totally bugged, so I can't do the thing where if I say send McCready to Red Rocket, it'll say McCready is going to Red Rocket in my little area you were just talking about, the left hand corner, the journal area. But then he won't show up at Red Rocket. He'll go back to his origin point.
Oh,
I've tested that out with different followers, and they keep going back to their origin points.
That sucks.
So that's another reason why I'm keeping them all with me.
Yeah, I've had in two different games, I've had sanctuary water bug out. Not every water, just sanctuary water. The same thing you were having in your game, and it's inconsistent. Like the one trick that seems to work temporarily is, say I've got 20 water in my workbench, and I just leave it in the workbench. And I come back a week later, I've still only got 20 water, even though I should have 300 water based on the number of pumps I have. But then what I'll do is if I empty that 20 out, so there's no water in the workbench, sometimes that'll kind of kickstart it, and I'll come back and I'll have a bunch of water like I'm supposed to. So that works for me. It's not consistent. It doesn't stay work, but it will sometimes generate. And what I do, when I have in that situation, I've got a 4 water purifiers. So I've got, water of 50 a day or 40 a day or whatever. So if it's bugged like that, I just use one. That particular game, I've got a cheat mod enabled for survival fast travel. And I just add 50 water to my inventory or something, just because screw it. I'm just going to use the cheat mod to correct this error, and that's close enough.
Yeah.
Or if I want to do it in game, I just run to the Beantown Brewery, pick up about 75 or 80 bottles and fill those up. And
you like to go to that brewery.
Yeah, I love that. I love farming things. You can farm the aluminum in the one canning factory. You can farm bottles at that factory. There's different places you can farm. So I just find that kind of fun. These
bottles won't respawn though, will they?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. But yeah, Beantown Brewery bottles respawn. Yeah, absolutely.
Is it the factory in operation?
No, it's just a respawning. There's new raiders in there too, right? So I think the implication is that new raiders move in and they start drinking the beer and leaving the bottles around, right? I mean, it's raiders and bottles respawn.
Yeah, there's an infinite amount of beer there.
So you've cleared that place entirely?
Beantown Beantown Brewery. No, well, you mean in bottles? No, I just go in and grab like the first 80 bottles.
No, I mean, have you killed all the raiders? That
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What happens if you kill everyone before you start the Travis quest?
Vadim is there, and there's some unnamed raiders, but I don't think Tower Tom. I don't think Tower Tom or the two that you have the brawl with. I don't think they respawn as named raiders. So I think Vadim is in there with unnamed raiders, and he's there as a hostage, but you don't get like the Tower Tom dialogue and stuff.
And have you stopped by on your way to Diamond City before kicking any of it off?
You mean, yeah. Tower Tom is in there. Yeah.
But the Deem is not there yet.
Oh, yeah.
You have to kick that off in Diamond City.
That's right. Yeah. So if you go, like, if you make a beeline for Beantown Brewery, you'll find Tower Tom. I forget whether you find the two idiots that you fight. I don't think you find them. I think you just find Tower Tom. Okay. Because your Tower Tom, there's that whole network of raiders with like the interconnected terminal messages, and they've got feud. And some of them are friends with each other. Some of them are feuding with each other, and they complain about their drug deals and stuff. So, Tower Tom is part of that. Like, Red and the food pack, the ration facility, all that stuff.
Who's gonna start the Fallout Terminal podcast, like the Elder Scrolls?
Yeah, I don't know. It's not quite the same.
Come on, it's exactly the same.
Well, you could do it. You could, or it could be like, well, actually, here's what I was thinking is I was thinking somebody needs to do a let's play of the Grognak the Barbarian text adventure game that you find in Dr. Amari's place.
Yeah, I support you wholeheartedly. Go ahead, feel free, have fun.
No. Won't be I, because I haven't played one of those games since Zork. Or no, wait. Zork? No, Zork wasn't the last one I played. Anyway, back in the day, the old Infocom games.
I didn't play much. I watched my brother play the Bard's Tale. It was an Apple. We played it on Apple TV, cross-platformer or not, but a text adventure based game. Very minimal. I love that sort of stuff. So I guess we have some quests to get through. Just give us a brief reminder about your usual playstyle versus is now. I understand that you use a fudge muppet.
Yeah,
you use the diplomat build, right?
It's a slightly modified diplomat. I moved 2 points off of the luck onto the strength so I could do armor. But it's basically the fudge muppet, yeah.
Great. And how is that different than if your first character? You said that you played for a couple of weeks there straight after Christmas. What are you naturally drawn to? And have you played? I know this was your first Fallout game, but had you played Skyrim before? Are you a role-playing game guy? What are you drawn to?
Well, before that, I was usually just playing Civilization and maybe XCOM. Those were the two big games before Fallout.
Civilization. I've never played it on computer, but I do have the tabletop board game of Civilization. It's incredible. I don't know if you've ever played that, but it's also very fun.
Yeah, I played that way back in the day with the little chits and everything, right?
Yeah, you've got to collect the grain and the salt and trade the different commodities and defend territories and conquer and divide.
Paul, were you playing what, Civ 5 or 6 or 4? Or what version?
4 and 5, basically.
Yeah, because 6 is the current one, right? Is that right?
Yeah, I haven't purchased that one yet.
Yeah. Civilization left me far behind. It just got too complicated for me. I played Civ Rev on the 360, and then I played whatever. I think it may have been 2. Whatever version of Civ came out around the same time as Alpha Centauri. I played Alpha Centauri and the associated version of Civilization, and then they started getting too complicated for me. I couldn't keep up.
That's great.
My games have to be simple. I'm a very simple gamer. I just can't handle excess complexity.
Yeah, I thought Civilization games were long until I started to have a Fallout game.
There is that. Yeah, that's actually why I like Civ Rev. And Andrew, if you might, I mean, Civ Rev would be cheap as shit. Or maybe even games with gold or something. You might like Civ Rev is really simple.
Oh, is it on consoles as well?
It's on console. Yeah, it's on 360.
Oh.
Presume it'd be backwards compatible. Pretty sure it is. Yeah. But anyway, you might enjoy it. I bet it's probably pretty cheap because it's been out for years and years.
I have a couple of crappy old laptops, but nothing I really trust gaming on. But my podcasting station and my actual desktop computer is a Mac, and I was looking on Amazon the other day and actually found old Mac versions of Fallout 1 and 2, and I was like, "Ooh, shit! I should get some old." But then I don't know what system I might not be able to run them. I have to check and make sure that they're compatible on my system and all.
Yeah, well, they would be incompatible just because they're too old, not because your system's not powerful enough, probably.
Not that it's not powerful enough. I was going to say that it's too new. Although I don't know, they may run okay because I think depending on some of those games. I mean, is it like literally a physical original copy, or is it a? I believe so. Yeah.
Oh, okay, well then it may not run, but a lot of the good old games and some of those online stores they'll update them so they'll run on modern hardware even if the code hasn't otherwise been changed.
I should just look into that. Oh, great. So I guess we can just get into our quest for this evening.
Let's do it.
Paul, you sent in an email that I was just remarking at how great and detailed you have screenshots, you have diagrams, you have.
Well, I just didn't want to forget anything.
It was amazing. I was like, holy crap, this guy has his shit together. I need to get my notes, and I just handed the show over to this guy because his notes are way better than mine. But I just loved all the screenshots you took and everything in the email. You had your own notes written out. You had the notes of everyone that you picked up. You had like screenshots of maps, and you had everything here and there. It's very nice. So you're obviously well versed in the house that Bruce built. Again, you can help. You can start us off down this quest here, and what we want to do is sort of compare and contrast again through our character roles, how we went about solving the problems throughout the house that Bruce built. So, Paul, would you like to describe to us a little bit about your adventure through the house that Bruce built?
Okay. Well, I grabbed the quest from the website, and it said go down to Easy City Downs, which I hadn't been there, so I had to go walk over to it. And it's on the west side, I think.
Yeah.
Side closest to the prep school. And
you know what, Paul? It is just kind of over the bridge from this great little place on the other side of the town.
God, what a dump.
Wonderful little town.
What a dump.
I haven't been there yet. I hear it's nice, though.
Wonderful. Visit nordhagenbeach.org.
Okay. And went in the door, and the first person to talk to was Penn. And he said something about you'll need a head to play. And I go, I need a head?
A head? What?
Yeah. So I went and explored the bowling alley a little bit, and it looked very familiar. If you've been to the General Atomic Galleria, you'll recognize the bowling alley quite a bit.
I was going to ask, that bowling alley, is the bowling alley there and the door is just blocked off, and he just took that bowling alley from the Galleria and put it in? You understand what I'm asking? Like,
yeah, he probably reused the assets from the General Atomic Galleria and just made some small changes, edits to it.
Was the bowling alley there before, Pat?
I don't think so.
The sign and everything, it was probably
well, the exterior sign may have been, but it was, I'm pretty sure it was an ineffective door, boarded over or whatever.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Penn, the leader, is asking for.
Yeah, he said something about he's come up with a new version of bowling, and you need to use a head instead of a ball. And he got the idea when he took the head off of a raider and rolled it down and struck. I can't quite remember what he struck, but he struck some pins with the head and said, "This is a great idea, and should do this."
I think the Raiders' buddies were running away, and I think he used the head to knock them down as they were running away,
that's right,
like a Three Stooges sketch or something.
Yeah, and there was a couple of other people there. Let's see.
Selling drugs. What was that?
Yeah, there's a drug deal, and there was a guy wearing the best.
Oh yeah, he had the
best hat. Yeah, the best hat in the base game. The mascot head.
Kept trying to interact with that guy to get it off of his damn head. I couldn't do it. Is there?
You can pick. I pickpocket. I'm starting to enjoy using pickpocket with my character.
Because you can pick. I didn't even try to pickpocket. I was just trying.
I have 4 dots of pickpocket, so I can take even equipped stuff with 90% effectiveness. So I as soon as I saw that fucker had the mascot head, it was in my inventory.
That's amazing. An armored mascot head is
it's only like 5, or it's not really well armored, but it's so cool.
Yeah, got to put on the ballistic weave on that shit, maybe.
Yeah.
Strike is the name of the drug dealer.
Yeah, and Teddy is the mascot head, and there's another woman there called Washout.
Washout.
Yeah. I don't remember if I saw Washout. I remember the other two, the drug dealer and the mascot head guy.
Yeah, you wander up to her, and she's kind of ditzy. She's doesn't quite all there. She just sort of points you to everybody else, basically. And basically, Pin gives you the quest, and you're off to go near Bunker Hill, which is where the quest marker shows up for where Bruce is supposed to be. Bruce is supposed to have the biggest head, because he's been taking a lot of buff out, and apparently it swells his head and shrinks his testicles. So he wants that big head, and if you look in the Pip Boy, and I put you out near Bunker Hill. So started walking off and going over there. On the way, I ran into Power Man, which is across the street from that diner not too far away from Country Crossing. There was a guy in a power armor suit talking to a couple of kids, and he goes by the name of Power Man, and the kids were really enjoying him. Just a little thing. He'll show up later it's another one of the Tails items.
That must be a Tails guy that I haven't run into yet.
Yeah, he meets an unfortunate end if you run across him again. And then in the diner, there's somebody called Sanctuary Joe. And if you've you've become a Minuteman General, you can recruit Sanctuary Joe to go back to Sanctuary. He just loves the idea of Sanctuary. But unfortunately, since I haven't talked to President Garvey after I killed the Deathclaw, he didn't want to talk to me, and he didn't want to go back to Sanctuary.
Oh.
So that was kind of unfortunate. So I went over to the drug den by Bunker Hill and slept there during the night after killing a few raiders there.
Are you a survival mode guy?
No, I was. I'm on very hard. Yeah, and
I've heard you say that before.
I just wanted to walk around. I had to have all my gang to keep going, and
it's a big army. It's a big responsibility when you have that many people.
Yeah, there's only 6 of us if you count the dog.
That would drive most people insane. I'm so glad to hear someone else say only 6. That's amazing.
Well, you've gone and took it to the illogical conclusion, I think. So after selling off my excess junk and equipment that I didn't want, it went down towards the bad FTL. Bureau of Alcohol, Drugs, Tobacco, Firearms, and Lasers.
Lasers.
Which is not too far from Bunker Hill. And about half a block up from the bad FTL is an apartment building that's been added. And that's where the weightlifters and supposedly Bruce was going to be at.
Yeah.
And so you go in there and look around and you find, I found 2 dead men and a dead woman. And it said something about their heads being struck repeatedly in the head. So those heads were not going to be usable.
Mushy or something.
Yeah, a little. It's not going to be a suitable bowling ball.
No, not at all.
So I had to search around and see if I can make lemonade out of this lemon.
Yeah.
And I found a note under the blast radius game next to the TV, and it describes an encounter that the 3 weightlifters had with a group of raiders who were fascinated by baseball in a nearby ball field. It's a sandlot field, basically. And it said it was north, and they had gotten a little dust up. And apparently the baseball gang didn't like the way they described bowling as the nation's pastime. So they apparently came back and beat their heads in a little bit.
Bash.
So I got out of there, went back out of the apartment, went over towards the ball field, and of course had to get tangled up with the raiders on the outside of the bad TFL because they
got drawn.
It was just too close to them, and they decided to start shooting at us. But when you have 5 guns, you can win pretty much any fight. Yeah.
Who are your 5 again?
I got 2 of the tails.
Audrey.
Audrey and Bertie. Bertie is the president of the United States, and then I got Kate and Gage.
Very nice.
And the dog, of course.
That's great.
And then
I'm liking when I have my followers. Sometimes they actually have conversations with each other, which I thought was really cool. That they actually thought to do that in the game. Usually, when you just leave someone and pick someone else up, they have like sort of an exchange or something. But I have everyone with me, so every once in a while they'll just turn to each other and sort of have like a small, not conversation, but just say a line and a line back to each other. They have a small exchange or something. It's really.
Hey, completely different, unrelated thing, but something cool that I noticed in my sanctuary. In this particular playthrough, I haven't given Mama Murphy the drugs, so she's not dead. She's usually dead in my games, but she's not dead. And I'd put her. I decided this time I wasn't going to torture her, so I actually made her a really nice little cozy corner in my sanctuary house. The one across the street from my house. So the one where the work bitch is. And I made her like a little nice corner. I gave her a table and a lamp, and I gave her an ottoman in front of her chair, so she could put her feet up on. Well, she doesn't put her feet up on it, but all the companion characters, and sometimes like June Long, they go over and they like sit on the ottoman and face her like they're talking to her. I mean, there's no actual dialogue, but they'll just like sit there like they're having a conversation with Mama Murphy. It actually looks really natural. It's like it's I guess it's specifically something they said if there's an ottoman or something in front of Mama Murphy, they'll go talk to her, and I thought that was really neat.
That's fun.
Yeah, I enjoy watching. Like Nick has talked to her. Nick talks to her a lot. The Vault-Tec guy talks to her. It's a lot of fun.
You need to get that Sanctuary guy, the Sanctuary Steve or whatever.
Oh yeah. See what he does.
Sanctuary Joe.
Sanctuary Joe. Yeah, that guy. Hey, Dennis just hopped on the show. Hey, Dennis, how are you doing this evening, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Wonderful, thank you. We're
Okay.
discussing some, tales from the Commonwealth quest tonight, Denny. So just feel free to hop in any part of the conversation whenever you want to. Welcome to the show. Glad you could join us, Denny.
Awesome. Good to be here.
Nice. So where were we, Paul? We just got drawn into another firefight with the
Right. I made it to the Sandlot baseball field, and there was some bases set out in a rough diamond. And on one of the bases, there was a note that said you should go to the house south of the library, marked with the signs of the Boston's one true religion, which was, of course, baseball.
Of course.
And your Pip-Boy will have a marker for it if you can't find it any other way. And go over to the just south of the library, and there's indeed outside of the building is a baseball sign. I don't know if that's in the base game or not. I don't remember, but there is a multi-story building there, and it does have baseball signs of various kinds on the outside of the building. Mm-hmm. So you can go inside and talk to the gang. And let's see, they had various baseball names.
Yeah, they did.
I think bench coach was the head of the gang. And then there was catcher, fast pitch Fanny, and then and some various other. I think the others were labeled with various.
There's like pinch hitter and
things like that. Yeah.
Outfielder, infielder. There were
And if you go all the way to the top,
I loved all the things that they were saying to each other, like. Or you would just walk up to someone and they would like have their little recorded dialogue. But I loved all that their sort of misunderstood baseball isms that they kept saying back and forth to each other. Okay.
And if you go in the building and make your way up the stairs, there's I think it's 3 stories or maybe 4. At the very top, there's a person in a cage, and he's calls himself Bruce, and he's asked to be let out. And as long as you don't let him out, everybody seems to be very happy, let you wander around everywhere. But of course, I had to let him out.
Of course.
So as soon as I opened the door, all hell broke loose, and I had to kill the gang members. So my gang took on their gang and pretty much took care of them. I managed to keep Bruce alive, which is a first probably.
What sort of attack method are you using? Are you a pistols guy? Are you
the Fudge Muppet build says you're supposed to be using pistols. So that's what I've been using for myself. Yeah. Everybody else has got whatever they pick up.
Yeah, I love it when they pick stuff up. I hate it when they pick up stupid stuff. But I love it when they actually pick up very useful things. One time I had Travis with me, and he picked up the gamma gun, and he's just using it, blasting, feral ghouls. And that does 0 damage to feral ghouls, because they have absolutely 100% radiation resistance. So he's just blam, blam, blam. I'm like, dude, please pick up something else. What are you doing? You've got 4 other guns in your inventory. Come on.
Yeah, after we were talking about Travis 2 or 3 weeks ago, whatever, I took him as a fake follower for a couple of quests and gave him I gave him the Le Fusil Terrible. And he was wrecking with that thing because I had gun nut 4, so I completely tricked it out and put it on auto, and he was wrecking with it. The problem is you can't give him better armor, so he goes down too easy.
I was gonna say, how did you give it to him?
Pickpocket.
You reverse pickpocket.
Yeah, reverse pickpocket. Yeah, that's the sure way to do it. I mean, he will sometimes.
If you drop it in front of him?
Sometimes, yeah, but that is very, very uncertain. So I with it good that again, I got 90% pickpocket. Maybe no, I think it's 83. Well, anyway, I have a very high reverse pickpocket chance with this character because I've got the pickpocket 4. So I didn't have any trouble giving it to him.
I know I mentioned it a few episodes ago, but a couple weeks ago, he just randomly hopped into one of my power armors that I have sitting around the place. So he just hopped in. He hasn't gotten out yet. So that's great. I love that he's running around in power armor. I have
That's
all of my
cool.
followers. I have all of my followers in power armor and funny hats, most of them, and like pack helmets. I've got McCready in the elephant helmet. God, it's so terrifying. Power armor, elephant helmet. Oh man,
That's one of those great. That's one of those great Bethesda things where you actually have to have like four deep in a perk to actually give somebody a useful weapon who's an absolutely useless follower. It's like, let me work on getting a special skill so I can try and make you better, which I should just be able to be like, hey, Travis, want a good gun? Yeah, it sounds great. Let's do it.
No, they can't make it that easy. Of course not.
Hey, before Michelle's going to bed, but he while over in the chat, he was calling me out for being nice to an NPC. He said it's not like me. So I told him it's that's what the Roundtable's for. It's there to make us stretch. So
yeah, do things out of your comfort zone, like be nice.
Be nice, yeah. I actually kept a companion for like 3 or 4 quests in a row in this game. It was I was proud of myself.
That's pretty impressive.
Well, Michelle, what you don't get is the constant barrage from Andrew of talking about, oh, I had this follower do this and this follower do that, and slowly Pat's been indoctrinated going, yes, maybe I should use a follower. Yes, use followers, must use followers more.
Breading, the awareness, the subtleties are getting in under your skins.
Well, it's that back to the old Warner Brothers Bugs Bunny, all the subtlety of a sledgehammer.
So Paul, how did you wrap up the Bruce Built quest? Did you
talk to the coach before you went up and released?
Yeah, but it wasn't very satisfying. I couldn't figure out how to do anything useful with them, so I just sort of wandered up the stairs and see what was available, see what was up there.
Did you hear any story? I thought that I remember him saying something about how there was an old Bruce, back before the war, and the Bruce that they have upstairs is new Bruce, and he's like the reincarnated version of this old baseball hero.
Yeah, there's a note in the display case down at the bottom.
Okay, what
explains
that? Do you remember what was in that note?
Yeah, it says the skull. There's a skull down there on the first floor in a display case, and there's a note right underneath the skull. If you look at the note, it says the original Bruce the Bat Bidden, a baseball sport legend, and some of his other teammates won the championship of 1918, and he won the World Series in 1918, and he became old, and they removed his head on his death. They removed his head and froze it. And in 2076, a search began to find the remains, and they found his head frozen. And whoops! Oh, I lost the note. Here we go. Found his head frozen, and they basically cloned him they thawed out the head and made a clone from using his head, using the cells from his head.
So it's like the Ted Williams thing.
Sort of, yeah.
Dennis, explain the Ted Williams thing for all of us out there who want to know more about that.
Well, there's a legend. I don't know if it's true.
Well, supposedly Ted Williams was the big-time slugger for the Red Sox back in there. Was it the 60s? Somebody will probably correct me on that. But he was their slugging god, and Ted supposedly donated, or I don't even know if he decided to do it or his family decided to do it, but he was supposedly cryogenically frozen, and they kept his head on ice. So one day when they want to wake him up and put him on the body of another baseball player like Barry Bonds or somebody, they have the opportunity to do that.
Wow. It's like Futurama here.
Yeah.
That's
he was Williams. I think was the 30s, 40s because he took a break to fight in World War II. I believe, like a lot of ball players did at the time.
where is his head supposedly kept?
I think it's in Arizona somewhere, in like area. Is it Area 54 or whatever?
51. That's in Nevada.
Kept it.
Nevada. There you go.
Yeah, they crashed.
One of those dry, worthless states.
Why do you think the?
Sorry to any listeners who we have in Arizona and Nevada.
Great. So yeah, okay. I was wondering what that had to be a reference to because I googled the name and nothing was coming up. So I was like, okay, that's not a real baseball player. So I was wondering what that was actually in reference to. So
the 3D NPC wiki says it's a reference to Bruce Bochy, who is a Red Sox manager who supposedly has a big head. Well, and there's also, it's both. I mean, Ted Williams is a reference, but then also the name Bruce supposedly came from Bruce Bochy, who is known for having a big head, apparently.
Okay, cool, great. Well, there you go. Pat, anything about the adventure from you on your side?
No, I pretty much kind of went straight for. So let's see. I can't remember. I was thinking. Paul said he found the note underneath the blast radius game. I think I found mine on one of the corpses. So maybe he's got a couple of different copies of the note in the first file in the weightlifter place.
We're talking about two different notes.
No.
This is the note from the gang that was.
Okay, yeah. Okay, right. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, so I found a note there. I found the baseball field. It was a little confusing to me at first because it said the baseball field was to the north.
Yes.
When really it's just across the street.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that was a weird way to say across the street. When I would never think of something like literally you walk out the front door across the street, it's there. I would never say anything other than across the street for that location. So that was a little confusing. But fortunately, there was a body of water there, and I said, "Well, surely it's not on the other side of the body of water." So I found the baseball field, looked at the bases, found the second note to go find the other place, explored that house, which I think the baseball player's house was maybe one of the good neighbor warehouses that you clear out or something. I think that maybe went because it seemed really familiar. I think that was the asset that was based on. So I went up there. You talked a little bit. Screwed around with some of the props and things, and I think if I remember right, I was playing this kind of late. I didn't do too many different options. I just pretty much made a beeline for the guy in the cage, let him go. I think actually there was enough of those baseball players. I think the first time through they killed me, so I had to reload and do it again. And I was just more careful killing them. My character's level 70, which is kind of the sweet spot of you can kill just about anything at that level because you got enough hit points that even if I get into a tussle with a Deathclaw or something, I can just pause and spam all my food and healing items and basically cure myself practically instantly with just spamming a bunch of food and stuff. So I was more careful the second time. I didn't have any trouble killing all the baseball players.
Do you have a guess as to how many raiders were in the building?
You mean baseball? You mean the baseball players / raiders?
Yeah,
it was a good number because they didn't swarm me at any point, so it was pretty easy to pick them off. There would only be like one or two on a floor, and I could kill them, and I'd get healed up or whatever, and I can go or sneak and get the next two. Well, I want to say it was probably maybe 8 or 10. It was a pretty good number because they had the named ones, and they started having like pinch hitter, an infielder, an outfielder show up.
You know what, Pat? I'm gonna guess. You said between 8 and 10. I'm going to guess there were 9 players.
Yep, probably.
And coach.
Well, it could have been, but there's also like pinch hitter and stuff, which might have been more than 10. It might have been more than 9.
There's the 9 players plus coach plus the pinch hitter. So I bet you there's 11. I bet you he's smart enough to say that there would be 9 players, and I bet you if you went through and counted all those players, that there'd be.
Maybe if I remember to do it, I'm going out of town for the weekend. When I get back home and have a chance to sit down, I will go count the corpses. If I remember to do it, I'll go try to count the corpses.
Oh, you don't have to. I'm just
saying.
No.
That's actually is a very good point. I should have thought to check that. Yeah.
Did anybody catch any of the crazy baseball phrases they were using, or any of the funny misunderstandings that they were using?
I don't recall. I did. Yeah, I definitely noted them at the time. I didn't remember any of them.
they were speaking of a place as if it were Valhalla with the names of their heroes written on the wall who fought with wooden clubs. Do you know the name of the location they were referring to? That would be the heavenly
Cooperstown.
Cooperstown. They're talking Cooperstown like it was fucking. I thought that was hilarious.
And here's Pat saying he doesn't ever know any sports ball. There you go.
I have been to Cooperstown. I used to be a baseball fan back in the day. I just haven't paid much attention to it lately.
There was some other things here. There are only 2 seasons in baseball: winter and baseball. But and they quoted it like it was a Bible verse. It said there are only 2 seasons in baseball: winter and baseball, from Bautista 3:16. And I was like, Bautista, is that a famous Red Sox player? I don't know the Red Sox well enough to know if Bautista was
not ringing a bell one way or the other.
Red Sox, I don't know. I just thought there was a couple of funny little things that the baseball people were saying. Oh, and I had the hardest time with all 3 of these quests getting them to start, actually. But when I got to the apartment, it was really strange. I had to find the letter. I found that under the TV, or by the TV under the blast radius board game. But it said go north. So as Pat mentioned, there's no way it's on the other side of that body of water. Well, Pat's smart enough to make that realization that they should have said just across the street. Andrew, on the other hand, is not. So Andrew spent about a half an hour on the other side of the fucking pond or river or whatever, looking. I was a quarter mile away, up on the other side of the body of water, running all over the place. I was like, there's no fucking baseball field. What are these guys talking about? There's no area big enough to be a baseball field, and it'd have to be up this direction. But then when you hop back across and you find the actual what they refer to as a baseball field, you guys, you say there's no way that this is a baseball field, because everyone knows the regulation dimensions for the official Little League baseball diamonds are from the pitcher's mound to the plate 46 feet, and in between the bases 60 feet. And there's no way there was 60 feet in between those base paths. So this unofficial baseball diamond really threw me off and wasted at least 40 minutes of my time. And I'd like to file a grievance with the.
Well, that's one of those things where we always, a lot of us players, people like me, yell and scream. It's like, oh, don't spoon feed us, don't give us every quest marker, don't tell us where to go. But then the minute you do a mod where they're actually, making you think and do a little research, you're like, where's my quest marker? Where am I supposed to go? Screw this. I'm not wasting any time with this.
I've never complained about having quest markers. I'm always a big fan of quest markers. I know other people like to figure out the puzzles, but I don't mind them at all. So yeah, I found it kind of confusing in what order I was supposed to find the letters, but I stumbled through. I found the letters in sort of a weird order. I didn't realize that I had to go back into the house after you find the first letter. That sends you out of the house across the street to the baseball diamond. Well, at the baseball diamond, that sends you back into the house, back across the street. And when you go back in, you find a letter from that raider, and that tells you to go back out and find the warehouse where they were doing all their drug deals. So you go out and find the warehouse. So I just got confused and flip-flopped, and it took a little bit to iron out. Pat can tell you in our little chat that we do behind the scenes that I was just complaining all fucking week about, how do I start this quest? I cannot find this person. Where's this person going? Where's this letter? I don't know what they're talking about. He's just like, Andrew, I don't want to have to keep spoon feeding you this crap all the time. Come on.
I was trying to be helpful. I was sympathetic. Yeah. Like Denny was saying, when you're in mod land, it's different, right? You can't rely on things kind of having the same feel of the main quest line. So you don't really know, like the way the notes pop up is a little different, and you just don't know that you're going to get the same look and feel. So it is harder to know like, is it bugged or are you missing something? I think typically in the main game, it's either more clear or you can find a YouTube video or whatever and it'd be completely clear, like, oh yes, I am missing it, or no, it is bugged, because bugs happen in the main game. We all know that. But I think with the mod, you just don't know. It's harder to figure that out. So hopefully the people playing along are finding it a little bit helpful, sharing some of these experiences. I think we're having different kind of stuff like this crop up for us.
Well, I mean, and I always assume that immediately it's a bug. I'm like, oh damn, this mod is bugged because I'm infallible, of course. Be me, Pat. I can't make a mistake. Speaking of Andrew pulling dumb mistakes, as we roll into our next quest here. Oh wait, was there any rewards on that quest?
Oh yeah, we have. Once I found the skull, read the note, I let Bruce go free. I grabbed the skull, took it back to the bowling alley, gave it to Penn, and Penn was so pleased that he put a plaque up on one of the lanes and made it exclusively for me.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
I love that. Yeah. That was the quest reward in this one was like my favorite moment out of any of the Tales really stuff. Fun.
Yeah. So in your honor, they named lane number 3. It was lane number 3 for me. I assume it was lane number 3 for everyone. But you go, you want to look at your fancy plaque that they hung up literally over the number 3. So they name it after you. So mine was Lane Susan or whatever. So you walk up and you want to investigate this awesome new luxurious plaque that they engraved in your honor. And you go up and you like touch it and it like falls to the down onto the bowling lane, and then you look at it and it's like, this shoddy piece of crap was written on a grease.
I have a screenshot. Let me read it. This is because I have a screenshot. I think this is worth reading because it's hilarious. This commemorative plaque looks like it was made from old and used napkins and stuck to the wall with a piece of gum. Scribbled with a permanent marker is your name. It's misspelled.
It's misspelled. That was the kicker. That is the best part, that your name was misspelled. And that is your reward for this quest.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a nice. That was without a doubt my favorite moment from any of the Tales thing. That little quest reward. So that was a lot of fun.
That was really fun. I like that a lot.
Hey Andrew, maybe let me kick off the two-lane blacktop, and then I may, especially with Denny able to join, I may sign off after that and let you guys run through full exposure without me. So that's okay. If we're ready to move into two-lane blacktop.
Right on. Let's roll into it.
Yeah. So this is one that in my first, with a different character, my first time doing Tales, I actually bumped into Smoke Screen, I guess. Yeah, I think one place is written Smoke, another place is written Smoke Screen. I ran into to Smoke Screen by accident. Just I think I was at that location killing raiders, as you do, and happened to bump into her, and she challenged me with the race. And it's like, what the fuck is this? And I was just like sort of wandering around. Meanwhile, she was like running off in her power armor towards the bell, and I eventually realized what she was doing. And I think if you lose the race, she waits for you at the bell and taunts you. And I don't remember if she gives you a chance to do it again. I forget exactly how it played out, but it wasn't the round table, so I didn't worry about it. But that did mean that this time I knew what to expect. So I was in my power armor. Just because I forget why I was doing power armor at this time, but I thought, oh, this will be good. Because I knew she was in power armor as an Atom Cat, so I figured I'll go in my power armor, and that of course let me jump off the roof and get a nice head start on the race. So even though I had not discovered that red rocket, I kind of generally remember where it was, and there's enough of them you can see the rocket off in the distance. So I got to the location, and Andrew, this is something else we were batting back and forth because I think there are sort of two buildings. Like the way I wound up doing is I went in the door that said Leighton Towers or Leighton Arms or whatever the exact name is, kill raiders and kind of work my way up, and then I went out a door onto a rooftop that I forget whether it was the same building. I think it was a different building, and then I like crossed over to a different rooftop. And Smoke was there, Smoke Screen, whatever the hell the character's name is. But there was also raiders, so I had to kill the raiders. And that's what I was telling you, that she was like she wasn't fighting the raiders, she wasn't helping me or anything, but she was like kind of wandering around the rooftop. So at one point she'd be on one side, the other, and then later while I was killing raiders, she'd wander over to the other side. So I had to kind of like chase her down over the rooftop to actually get her to interact with me.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then after that, it's pretty easy. You start the race, and certainly it was easier for me to being in power armor because I was able just to jump off and just make a beeline for Red Rocket, and I won the race and very conveniently got her power armor as a reward.
Are you a jetpack power armor guy?
Yes, I am. I like my jetpacks.
Does jetpacks let you go faster than running? I
If you're really good with a jetpack, it might. I'm not really good with it, so that's a good question. And you have to go over. There's like a highway that's a collapsed highway that you have to get across. I think I think I was able just basically to like run down the hill and run back up the other side. But that's something else that like you could get distracted by if you let yourself like sort of get stuck on that highway.
There's a crater there that must have been an impact zone from a bomb, because you run into it and out the other side, and your meter on your power armor just goes to full blast.
The rad meter, yeah.
Rad meter just goes full blast. So it must have been an impact zone or something.
Yeah,
on the north side.
yeah.
So, you can either go around that crater, or I just cut straight through.
I did too. I was in power armor, and I had plenty. I was in good health, so I wasn't too worried about the rads. Mm-hmm. So I just ran straight through it. So
all you have to do is hop off the building and beat Smokescreen all the way to the Red Rocket, which originally I was going to put a quest marker on the fucking original Red Rocket up near Sanctuary, and I was like, holy shit, we got to run all the way.
That'd be quite a race.
And then I was like, realized, oh, it's just that one right over there. Okay, I see. She wasn't specific about which Red Rocket.
So. Yeah. Well, that was part of my confusion the first time, was that that I wasn't sure which one it was.
Yeah.
And then this time I knew it. So anyway, so Paul, were you able to find Smokescreen and check out this quest?
This is the first time I've ever done this quest, and so I took the window washing elevator on the side of the building up to the top, killed off a couple of raiders there, and then went up to Smokescreen, and she said, "You'll need a plate," and I go, "A plate? What's a plate?" And
you're so square.
I didn't know what we was talking about. And then it dawned on me, oh, of course, she's in power armor, and my power armor is back in Nuka World. So I took off and went back there and got my XO1 that I got from the power plant. And yeah,
that's a good one.
I'm only a level 40 character, by the way. So that's not.
Is that one have like a nice like blue tint to it or something?
No. This the one that's the one in the case that in the part that I haven't been to yet.
Yeah.
So took that power armor back up to the roof, and I couldn't get the quest to start until I asked her something about what's the Atom Cats, and then the quest took off. So I'd ask her what the Atom Cats was the first time, and trying to figure out what a plate was. But so when I asked her about the Atom Cats, then the quest marker, the quest started, and it said and she said there's basically no rules. We're just going to race over to there, and first one there was the winner, went to the Red Rocket. I jumped off the side, and then I tried to figure out which Red Rocket we were talking about, because I knew there was a half dozen. And by the time I figured it, I looked at the Pip-Boy and looked back up. She was halfway down to that crater, and it was hopeless. And so I take off after her, and I run, and she kicks up all the insects, and they attack me, and it was a hopeless race.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. I forgot about those damn bugs that are in that crater. Yeah.
I had half a dozen of them attack me, so that pretty much ruined my chances. By the time I crawled up over the rim, practically ran into that sentry bot up there, and I had to kill that. And so it was a hopeless race. I lost by a mile.
So what happens when you lose? That's great that you lost. No offense, but what happened?
She says you should come up to the Atom Cats and we'll have another race. Basically, that's what she told me.
And you don't get the power armor?
No, I didn't get anything.
Oh wow, nice. That's cool. So I'm glad that it fell out that way, because sometimes in the roundtable we always do stuff the same way, and you don't really get to hear the other side. But that's
yeah. Basically,
cool.
she just invited me to the Adams Cat's garage, and we can have another race sometime.
Yeah. So you should do that. I wonder if you go up there, Paul, and talk to Smokescreen again, if you actually will do another race. I doubt you will, but you should just go talk to her, see if she, says, "Oh, hey," remembers you or something.
If she's there, I don't know if I don't know if Tails will put her there. But we'll find.
Good question. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I didn't. I was in Power Armor, so I just left her Power Armor sitting at the Red Rocket, and I grabbed the Fusion Core, and because that's another thing about Power Armor, Andrew. I remember in the first roundtable, you would always talk about stealing all the BUS Power Armor, but it stays stolen forever, and your damn wussy companions complain about it every time you get into it.
Yeah, they do.
So that was so I decided, but that's the one I had tricked out with the jetpack. It's my best set. I don't have a set of.
Those are.
I guess I don't have an XO1. I guess I just haven't looked for it because I'm level 70. I should have XO1 by now.
Those are for decoration purposes only, Pat.
Oh, okay, right, yeah, okay, fine. I've got no. Actually, I need to get a good set of T. What I need to do is take this character to Far Harbor and grab the Vim T51.
I was just in there. Is it at the Vim factory?
Vim factory, yeah.
I was just in there. There's if I remember right, when we were doing the Far Harbor roundtable, I think you're sent there for a quest, and then you get sent there again, and then you have access at a deeper point or something.
Well, that's you. The Vim factory is where you find what's her name's body for the Dima quest.
Avery?
Yeah. So it's Captain Avery, whatever. So if you just stumble across the Vim factory, I think you can't get into her unless you get into where her body is, unless you have that quest. So it may send you back. That's what I remember. That you have a second level of access.
Yeah, that doesn't do anything there, but you can get the red Power Armor if you want it.
Yeah, and then you have to be sure to get the recipe for the green paint, because that's the best.
Yeah, that looks pretty cool. I need to go back. I guess I just didn't look hard enough.
It's on a terminal not far from the red Power Armor, I think. It's not.
Yeah, there's a green. There's a green one in the truck on the main road. Between.
Oh, okay. There's that set that's already painted green.
Yeah, there's a truck on the road between Far Harbor and Dalton Farm. It looks like a billboard on the back of a flatbed.
Huh.
And in there is a green T51.
I've missed that. I've always gotten the red and then gotten the recipe for painting it green and done it that way. But didn't know that's nice. Yeah.
Great tip, Paul. Is it behind like a lock terminal or lock and key or anything? Or just
no. You just have to walk up to it and get in it.
Nice.
Speaking of new power armors that I hadn't seen before, I was just mucking around near Covenant and decided, there's a crashed vertibird in the pond there by Covenant. So I'm splashing around, swimming around, saying, look, I'll go over here and just look at this vertibird. There's nothing interesting underwater ever, so I'll just go swim around by this vertibird. See, maybe there'll be like an ammunition case or something. Holy shit, there's some power armor standing there underneath the water. So I found some underwater power armor over by that big pond just to the west of Covenant. So anybody want to grab that? And you can just kind of hop into it and walk out of the water, and then it works just fine. It hasn't rusted a bit in the last 200 years. So, I mean, lucky us, right?
Nice.
Another frame.
Yeah. I love the frames. I have the Victor mentioned some Skyrim power armor, and I went and did that, but I broke all the pieces, so I have to fix them. Except for I just got everything tossed into my crate or whatever, so I have to go back and figure out all my power armor stuff. All of my followers are in power armor, but they're all just in the frames with helmets. They actually aren't wearing any power armor anymore.
Cheapskate.
Fuck them. Whatever.
All right, Andrew. So I now that Denny's back, I am going to use this opportunity to slink off to bed. So a good Paul, great to do the show with you guys. Have a good rest of the show. have fun talking about full exposure. And Andrew, I will catch you next week for our feedback episode.
Thanks a lot, Pat. We'll see you.
Night, everybody. Bye.
Night, Pat.
My adventure here in Two Lane Blacktop, I had an impossible time finding smokescreen at first. I wasted literally an hour or two, just like I'm searching for the baseball diamond up on the north side of the body of water. I'm searching for smokescreen in all the wrong places that she doesn't actually exist. If you go to the buildings, what are they actually called? I forget what that apartment building is called.
Linden Tower or something like that.
Leighton Tower or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Layton, Layton Tower. So you find that, and you think, I guess I should have known by the word towers that is pluralized that there are two buildings. I was running around on the north side, and there's some fire escape stairs going up on the north side of the building, and you go up there, and there's no one on the rooftop. So you're supposed to meet smokescreen on the rooftop of the Layton Towers, according to the instructions. So I'm up there running around. I can't find. There's no one up here. I killed a ton of raiders, so I went back down. Oh wait, here's a door. I can go inside the building and then go up. Okay, it's me out in the exact same place. So I went through the inside of the building. I took the stairs up on the inside of the building. That spits me out in the same place. Took the elevator on the inside of the building up. Spits me out in the same place. What the hell? I can't find this person. Where are they? So I fast travel back. No, I didn't reset anything. I didn't spawn any characters. No one's there. I find a chair and I wait 48 hours. No, nothing. That didn't reset any cells. There's no one there still. So I'm just pounding this. I'm thinking, oh man, this of course is bugged. Andrew is infallible. This is not my fault. This is obviously the mod is bugged. This is horrible. What am I gonna do? So I'm just like getting so mad, and after about 2 hours I just rage quit. And then earlier today I decided, well, I'm just going to go on YouTube and Google it and see what the hell is going on here. So I watched it and was like, oh shit, there's a second building. Just to the south of the North Tower is the South Tower, and on the south side of the South Tower, as Paul mentioned, you can just easily get onto the cargo elevator or the window washer elevator and just easily go up, and smokescreen is literally just standing at the edge of the building there. And we're
gonna have to have a whole episode, Andrew, devoted to your resistance against watching YouTube, because your resistance to watch YouTube is like a 90-year-old's to a smartphone. It's like, I don't need that YouTube. It's foolishness. I can figure out on my own.
I don't know. I know everyone likes to watch other people play. That's not my. I don't know why, but I'd rather just play myself and try to figure it out. And until the point where I go.
Until the point where you're texting Pat 16 times at 2 o'clock in the morning, going, Pat, what's going on? The quest is broken, Pat. What's going on? Help me,
Pat. Where's the baseball diamond, Pat?
And Pat's like, YouTube, Andrew, please, YouTube. That's why the man can't. He's up at 3 o'clock this morning trying to figure out how to help you out.
He used to just send me that annoying link that hey, let me Google that for you.
Exactly.
Like, Pat, I'm gonna smack you.
Let me YouTube that for you. Yeah.
Hey, let me YouTube that for you. So eventually I found smokescreen, of course, and hopped right down and across the crater and rang the bell. The first time I went and I rang the bell, I did not see the sentry bot. There was a super mutant master or something running around, because if you look up off to the right, there's a super mutant sort of establishment over there. Is it the Big John's Wrecker Yard or whatever it's called? Maybe I don't remember the exact location, but
something like that. Yeah.
So there's a super mutant there the first time, so I was worrying about him killing him, and then the sentry bot came around from behind and started wailing on me. I was like, oh fuck! So I killed him really quick too, and in the explosion that hit smokescreen, and the smokescreen went all aggro on me and started fighting. I was like, holy shit! I didn't know if this was part of the quest or not, that she got really mad that I rang the bell before her, and or him. I don't know. For some reason, I assumed Smokescreen was a lady. Is that right?
I don't remember.
I think the voice was a lady. I can't quite remember. But I thought that Smokescreen got all mad at me after I beat him to the bell, and but actually it was because I killed the sentry bot, and he exploded, and that explosion it caught Smokescreen and then. But I went and attacked Smokescreen, and she started running away and shooting me, and running away and shooting. But her health would never go down at all. It was really kind of interesting. So that character is, God mode or whatever. You can't do any damage to that character. So I just thought that was pretty interesting. So I had to reload, and I did it again, and I killed the sentry bot from a distance, so he would explode, and the super mutant wasn't there this time. So that was a lucky added bonus. And then I rang the bell, and everything was fine. And she gave me the power armor, and I told Piper to hop into it, I believe. I have Piper in a helmet that I have titled Destro. It is through one of my clothing mods, you can make helmets like chrome, straight, a bling chrome silver color. And I put a synth field helmet that has like the full face enclosure on it and make it silver, and it looks like Destro from G.I. Joe. So I think that's really fun. I have a couple of different people.
This is why people watch YouTube videos, Andrew, because if you YouTubed all this, you'd have like 6 zillion hits, because everybody would want to see how you made your Destro helmet.
But people love Destro.
That's why you need to Twitch stream. Twitch stream your Roundtable feedback. We can all watch it and be in the glory of how wonderful it all is.
Thank you, Dennis. That is a great comment, and we will try to hammer that home a little bit more a little bit later. But we're going to start trying to have people submit some of their Roundtable feedback by Twitch streaming live and posting their adventures that way, so we can sort of get some more action over on our Twitch stream. So that's great, Denny, for bringing that up. Did you have anything else you need to go over there with that quest, Paul?
No, I just sort of lost. That's all that happened to me.
All right. Well, we can get into full exposure then. And this one was actually kind of interesting. I took a couple of introductory photography classes back in the day. So this is a whole lot of photography, and sort of like similar to how the house that Bruce built quest, how the baseball cult was sort of misunderstanding how like all these baseball phrases and misusing things, like sort of getting their facts kind of mixed up. They're also sort of doing that with the full exposure here. It seems that you pop over to the full exposure, and what's her name? Cameron, Cameron. Is a camera salesman. And she, let's see, she says film. She has an interesting way of describing film. She said that back in the day, they sold baseball cards and sealed packs to fund schools or something. Do you remember her saying that? I just thought it was really weird, and I didn't actually understand what she was saying, so I had to jot that down. I was like, that's a really weird thing to say. But then she equated that with cameras and films, and she's like, okay, well, there's this film in these cameras that are from 100 years or 200 years ago that haven't been developed yet. So these are all like the baseball cards are sealed. You don't know which ones you're going to get. It's always a surprise, but that's exactly like this. So you buy a camera and you take it, the film is still in the camera. You take it and you develop that film, and then you get a surprise picture. And that's supposed to be sort of like the incentive for spending so much money on getting a camera that it's just supposed to be like a history experience, sort of. And I thought that was actually sort of a cool idea and a really well written quest. So Chris Takahashi, kudos for this interesting quest structure and a storyline for the full exposure. So the first thing that you are told to do is go to the 1 hour photo shop. I was like, wait a second, you're a camera store, but you don't do any development here? I found that really strange. I thought that she should just have her own darkroom just right there at the camera store. But anyway, she tells me to go off to the 1 hour photo shop, and the 1 hour photo shop is all the way on the other fucking side of the world, on the very far west side of the map. Where is it? It's next to like the interchange, the Mass Pike interchange, but it's sort of like on the other side of the lake.
Yeah, Poseidon Reservoir and the Roadside Pines Motel.
Yeah, the reservoir there. I've ran by that reservoir. I need to go into there sometime. I probably have. I assume I've been there before. But I've seen it a couple times on this playthrough, and I keep running right by it, and I'm like, oh, I need to go back in there. So the first step is to go to the 1 hour photo shop. But the reason you're going there is because she says she has a camera that, this guy came in, he was all suspicious, right? And he was going to give her just an exorbitant amount of money to develop this film.
Something like 1,000 caps.
1,000 caps or something, just to develop this special roll of film. But she says that she wanted to take it to get it developed, but it was too dangerous, so she couldn't go by herself. That's why she's sending us, of course. So we offer help. And
she promises to pay 200 caps if you go and do it for her.
Yeah, per good picture, she'll give you 200 caps or something. So we take on that deal and decided that we'll go help her out. So we go all the way to the west side of the map, like Paul mentioned, by the reservoir and the Mass Pike interchange. You go into the room, and there is a terminal on the wall with a sassy person who's obviously written these terminal entries about, it must have been a teacher or some sort of supervisor at this place, who were sort of scolding people about their bad habits in the dark room. So you use this terminal to pop open the door, and then you can go down into the dark room. And I believe you're tasked with doing a couple of different things down there. You have to mix the appropriate chemicals that you'll need in order to develop the film. And you're also tasked with blocking out the light. There's evidently some light leaks that you need to take care of so that your film does not become overexposed and ruined by excess light.
Man, Chris is taking some liberties that people know what this is, because I got to tell you, the younger generation doesn't know what all that is all about. They don't even know what a picture is. It's all on their phone now, man.
It's this is an analog. This is an analog chemical process. This is
I work in a photo lab, and don't nobody know what C41 film is anymore.
No, I don't know what C41 is. What is C41?
C41 film was the chemical process introduced by Kodak in 1972. Anyway, moving on.
Okay, Denny, one of my absolute favorite things on earth is Kodachrome.
Oh.
You know anything about Kodachrome? Can you just talk? Can you have a podcast about Kodachrome? I would listen for hours.
I probably could, but it close your eye, close your left eye, and then rub your right eye in alcohol, and it's the same thing as getting Kodachrome.
Oh, I love Kodachrome. It's the best. Oh. So, gosh, what are we doing?
Derailed.
No, you're fine, Denny. That's why we love you, Denny. We're going to make some chemicals. That's right, all the kids out there. If you wanted pictures that were not on a digital apparatus, you used to have to develop them back in the day. So they actually a very basic description, but they actually do have the correct terminology and in the correct order. So I do give Chris kudos for looking up, or he maybe was a photographer himself. So that's cool that he got the right process down. So let's talk about these chemicals here real quick. You need to have developer, you need stop bath, you need fixer, and you need the hypoclean. Hypoclean is a different term than I'm used to. I forget what we used to call it, but it sounds like hypoclean or hypoclear is a brand name that they use, but we just had, it was just called a wash or something like that we would use after the fixer. But you have to mix up these 4 chemicals using basic ingredients. And of course, they give you the tip that these ingredients are usually readily available around lab. So I took a look, and there is actually cloth. If you look behind you in between the sinks, there's some cloth there, but I looked all over the damn place down in there, and I couldn't find the other ingredients. So I actually left and went and fast traveled back to my place and got all the ingredients that I would need and brought them back to make the chemicals. And on my way back in, I decided to duck behind the counter so that I could see if there was like a safe or anything down there. And then I realized, oh wait, all the ingredients I needed were right there behind the counter the whole time. I didn't have to leave at all. It's just that they're not downstairs. They were upstairs for easy access to the employees. And I totally missed that and wasted, a good 15, 20 minutes fast traveling back and forth and getting different ingredients that I really didn't have to be doing. So,
come on. The first rule of Fallout is always loot.
Loot everything. And, see, that's the thing, Paul. I think that, I scraped every inch of that building. I got every little piece of that, and then I turn around. Oh wait, here's a file cabinet I missed. I totally didn't see. Oh wait, here's 3 things that I missed over here. Here's a body I didn't lose. I was like, no, I swear that I got everything, and I'm just not nearly as good as I think I am about scavenging.
Yeah, I had cleaned out my inventory, and I dumped all my alcohol in the workbenches back at Sanctuary. So I was afraid I was going to have to go back there, but then I stumbled across some beer.
Nice. Speaking of which, could you use any alcohol, or because the terminal specifically mentioned one of the employees not leaving these beer bottles around, so you know that the game wants you to find beer for that, and they also mention the other faults of the other employees. But I was just wondering, could you use other sorts of alcohol? If you had vodka, would vodka work, or do they want specifically to use the beer for some reason for the alcohol?
You got me, because I, like I said, I dumped my inventory, so that's the only thing I had.
Yeah, but you actually were good enough to find the items behind the desk in that little spot by the employees.
First rule is always loot.
Always loot. Yeah. Paul, much more wise than I. So after you find the ingredients, you go down and you have to make what are the actual ingredients? It was alcohol, in this case beer. You needed purified water and cloth. The alcohol and the purified water were used to make the ingredients, and the cloth was just used to wipe stuff clean afterwards, I believe. I remember them saying something about that. So you collect the items. You make the materials, and the sinks fill themselves, and then you are tasked with developing the negative, and all you have to do is put them in the correct order. So you have to before you get there, you have to light tight the room. How did you have to do that, Paul?
I went around and picked all the fungus first, and that got it. Then that was still not good enough, and then I realized there was lights on the ceiling, so I took out my pistol and shot him out.
No, you're again so much smarter than me, Paul. I immediately saw all of the fungus, so I was like, okay, that's obvious. I'm just going to go pick all those, and that'll be good enough. And so then I just went and developed my negative, and then failed the quest, so I had to reload. I didn't know if I actually failed the quest, but it gave me the warning. It said, because you have not made the room light tight, you have overexposed the negative, and no picture can be made, or something. So I was like, oh crap. So let me reload and try to do this right. And then I went back and I did it again. And I said, oh, the radio in the corner is on, obviously. Duh. Let's go turn off the radio, because their little, light display there, that will bleed through, and that is enough light. And then I tried again, and I failed the quest again. Oh, fuck. So, okay, let's reload and try.
Bugged.
Yeah, totally bugged. Andrew is infallible. This cannot be my fault. So then I look around the room, and I'm like, oh, there's fucking windows on the wall behind me. Okay. So I'm looking around. Is there any way I can block these windows? No, I don't really see any way, but if I look out the windows, there's a light bulb hanging in the sort of stairwell that goes up to the upstairs part. So I go out and I'm looking at this light bulb. How the fuck do I turn off this light bulb hanging out of here? Okay, there's a red wire, like they have those red wires that go all over the place. So I follow the red wire back and up the stairs, and then the red wire just disappears into the wall, and I'm like, well, maybe it's connected to the terminal somehow. So I go back out to the original terminal and open that back up again. And no, nothing about the light. No switching off lights on and on. or on and off. I don't see a light switch anywhere. I don't see any of this. I wonder how the hell this is supposed to work. So go back down and look at the light switch some more. Nothing. Go back into the room, look out the window even longer. What these windows are doing, man, it's got to be these windows. And then I'm scrolling around, and then I look up. Fuck, there's 2 lights on the ceiling. I'm a dumbass. So I pull out my rifle, pop, both of those light bulbs are out. Then I develop, and then everything's fine. But it took me three times of failing the fucking quest, or not the quest, but failing making the negative, developing it into a picture before I actually got it. Paul, were you smart enough to get the?
Well, this is actually the second time through this quest. I played it 6 or 9 months, and so I sort of made yours mistake the first time.
Yeah. It was just a little confusing for me. But so it turns out you can shoot out those ceiling lights. But if you think about it, there's a light bulb that is you can see through 2 open windows behind you. So actually, you should have to turn off that light bulb too, or have to block out those windows. That's
have a nice dark red filter or something. Yes.
Yeah.
And if you really think about it, it's been more than 5 minutes since you've had the opportunity to shoot someone, and you're just gonna throw your controller against your TV because you're like, "Why am I doing this? Give me somebody to kill."
Oh, come on! That's one thing I do have to commend Chris Takahashi on is creating lots of quests within these Tales of the Commonwealth that aren't just run around, kill this thing, run around, kill that thing. There's actually a little bit of puzzle to things, and it's not necessarily just shooting.
All right, fine. For you people that want to use your brain bucket, good for you.
Well, I use my brain bucket. It causes me to waste 2 hours of time running up the wrong side of a building. How much brain bucket's used. Yep.
Achievement unlocked.
Achievement unlocked, brain bucket. So let's go ahead and power through full exposure here.
So you click on
right order.
You click on each of the tanks, developer, stop, fixer, and then hypo.
Yep, you got to do the developer first, the stop bath, then the fixer, then the hypo. Yep.
And once you do the hypo, suddenly ghouls started coming out into existence for some reason.
Weird. I didn't see the bodies anywhere. They just sort of come up out of the fucking floor or something.
Yeah, so now you have your chance to shoot something.
There you go, Denny. You happy?
I approve this message. Yes. shoot everything.
Yes.
Kill them all.
Yeah, and kill them all and nuke them till they glow. And they're already glowing, so you're already 50% there.
Off to the left side of the room, Paul, is a very suspicious little archway of a broken wall that leads into just a very tiny little, dug out area. It's not even a hallway that leads anywhere. I went into that room many times being like, what is in here? Why is this here? What is in here? Why is this here? They don't do this. They don't put stuff here for zero reason. Why is this little? And so then that's why I figured out, because that's where the bloated fucking feral ghoul of hell is going to spawn from and come out of there and take a couple of whacks at my face. That's why that room is there.
Yeah.
So what are we doing with our negative? We got our negative officially developed.
And it points you back to it says the quest marker points you back to the shop near Diamond City. What's that, full exposure?
Yeah, the full exposure.
And so you go back there and you give the photo to Cameron. And she doesn't like what was developed.
Yeah, she's shocked. But it's funny, the photo that you get is titled like, what is it, naughty photo or naughty negative, or I don't even remember what it's called, but it's like,
yeah,
when they give you the photo, it's a naughty one.
She says something like, a rad roach is in her what?
Oh, gross.
Yeah,
that's disgusting.
That's some terrible things are happening there. And that triggers the quest indecent exposure, so that takes off from there. And that'll be next time.
Yeah, that is coming up next. well, not next week. Next week we're doing a feedback episode for these quests that we've heard for High Noon at the Gulch, Safari Adventure, and the quest we went over tonight, the house that Bruce built, 2-lane blacktop and full exposure. But after that, 2 weeks from tonight, we will be going over Indecent Exposure and Love and Peace. And Indecent Exposure sort of pops off immediately afterwards. And what do you remember what she says, Paul? Like, or maybe you say that you no. She says she recognizes the guy in the picture, and maybe he's over by the brothel.
Yeah, Boston Bordello.
The Boston Bordello, yeah.
And then she claims she doesn't have the 200 caps to pay you.
Oh, what the fuck?
So you're going to have to talk to him to get your money.
Oh my god. Okay, so she's basically going to tell us we have to go blackmail this guy with the naughty picture of him and a lady, I guess, with a rad roach coming out of something indecent.
Something.
Oh boy.
Fortunately, I didn't get to see the picture.
Yeah, that was funny. They bring up the picture, like that screen when it says you've picked something up, and it's like, oh, here's this item. You know, this whenever you get a legendary item, whatever, it goes to that special screen, like, oh, here you pick this up, and it says naughty photo, but it doesn't show anything. They should have had a naughty photo that that we can all enjoy, right? Come on. Denny, did you manage to find an email that was floating around in our email box? Before that, did you have any final thoughts there for full exposure, Paul? I think I covered everything. That I didn't have any major meltdowns this time.
Yeah, I had installed another mod that for Eleonora's clothing. She has a bundle of armor and clothing that shows up, and her shop is right next to the full exposure shop. And
cool.
her mod has put a space for the traveling merchants to stop by. So every time you go anywhere near that, there's a fight that breaks out between the raiders over at the Mass Pike tunnel entrance, and they come over and attack the traveling merchants, and they have a fight going on every time you show up there. So that's a little different.
Provisioners versus raiders. Yeah.
It's in this case, in the case I had there, it was Trash Can Carla and 2 guards of Cricket, because they were both there at the front of the store at the time.
That's awesome. I've never seen them in the same place like that before. That's really cool. I didn't know. I don't know their paths. There's people who pay attention to stuff like that. It's like, oh no, Trash Can Carla goes here and here and here and here. I don't pay attention enough to know where both of those.
Yeah, since this is a mod, it's not the standard route. So
also, Andrew, you're keeping up with 17 different people that are following behind you. So maybe you can't keep up with the vendors because you got your own crew that you got to worry about.
That's hilarious. Yeah. I can't be bothered with the outside world. Just the inner turmoil in our little group is enough to entertain anybody. Yeah. So, any other closing thoughts there, Paul?
No, that's pretty much it.
Great. So that was a wonderful trip through Tales from the Commonwealth this evening. Again, I will say that 2 weeks from tonight, on July 6th, we will be going through Indecent Exposure and Love and Peace from Tales of the Commonwealth. But next week, we'd love to hear from all of you out there doing your play-alongs. We'd love to hear anything that you've got to say about High Noon at the Gulch and Safari Adventure from Nuka World. Also, and the quest we just covered tonight, House that Bruce built, 2-lane blacktop, and full exposure. So please send us all of your audio feedback or email feedback to thefalloutfeed@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from each and every one of you.
Or if you would like a special cookie from Pat, you can Twitch stream it.
Yeah. Oh, Twitch. Exactly. We'd like to start seeing people Twitch streaming, and then we can how's that work, Denny? Can we just like repost it via our Twitch, or I don't even know how that works.
Well, it will stay on the person's Twitch channel, so they can post their Twitch channel, so they can get a couple views from that. And if we need to, we can pull it off their Twitch stream and put it on the YouTube. The YouTubes that Andrew won't watch, but we'll force him to watch it, like Clockwork Orange style. We'll force his eyes open and we'll make him watch the Twitch stream.
No, I'm just out for a little bit of the old mayhem. What do they call it? That's not what they called it. Sorry, Danny. I messed up my Clockwork Orange references.
Shut it down.
Shut it down. Yeah, so go ahead, Paul.
Oh, I haven't seen Clockwork Orange in 30 years, so.
It's been a long time. Me too. Used to watch it on Encore back in the day when I was a teenager, probably a little too young to be watching it. 12 even, a little too young there. Denny, I believe we had an email from our friend up north, Benoit. Benoit, thank you so much for writing into the show. Denny, did you have that email pulled up for us?
Yeah, it's Benoit Gauthier. Hit me if I'm wrong with that, because my wife, the French teacher, will bash me over my head for getting that wrong. But anyway, here we go. Hi there, Fallout Feed. I just listened to the latest episode. Many points resonated. I really need to get in the chat room during recording. Please, everybody who wants to be on the show, bother Andrew. He would love to get you on the show. First, I'll do a non-official iTunes 5-star review here because I'm not part of the Apple religion. Seriously, here goes. 5 stars. I was looking for a Skyrim podcast after the demise of Thuumcast and came across a Skyrimatic. It more than did the job. Of course, when Fallout 4 was announced, I was very happy to see the birth of the Fallout feed, so I can say I've been aboard since day one. In short, great podcast, great community, and great interaction with the public on and off the show. Keep up the great work. On the quest side, I did have to give Pierce the Wannabe Raider a huge tangent just because of the Sim Settlements mod. I did have to cave in and use the Minuteman quest line because populating a settlement with bots and synths would have been a total chore. I did find a mod that would allow me to talk to Shank without locking out Preston, so I was able to do Nuka World. I still keep the bloodthirsty theme of my playthrough by giving the park to the Disciples, Nuka, Galaxy, Dry Gulch, and Bottling Plant, and the Pack, Kitty Kingdom, and Safari, making the Paisley-loving money grubbers quite unhappy. Let's highlight each park's section's events. Galaxy. I started the Grand Tour there because I knew it was the longest to do and the easiest to get lost in. I was really happy to be massively overpowered because I didn't remember how busy this area is. Mr. Frothy's turrets, Galactrons, and pesky Zeton animatronics. I still have to pick up all the star cores for that sweet quantum armor. Gulch. The first I came through here, I must have spent an hour looking for the key to Mad Mulligan's mine, but this time I had the whole thing done in less time, even though I hadn't done it in a few months. I must have really tried the first time. Bottling Plant. Here's where I get to tell Andrew how he opened the door to the Nuka-Cola armor. When you first come across the locked magnetic door, you can follow the red wire, but you find it goes through the wall into the production line floor. To get there, you have to go all around the innards of the boat ride, killing a mix of Nuka-Lurks and Assaultrons. And once inside, there is a terminal that opens the mag lock. You go back on the ride, and voila, free power armor. Safari. I did this section really straightforward with minimal exploration. Let's just say I hate mazes. Did the Ceto thing, killed Gator Claws, shut down the cloning machine, got Ceto's bat. Okay, next. Kitty Kingdom. I remember how annoying the mist sprayers were the first time, so I decided to not mess around by bringing my Exo-1 5 leaded jet 5? V is 5, right? Leaded jetpack armor, coupled with my explosive overcharged laser rifle. I literally steamrolled the place. Oswald may want to make you feel bad about killing his quote-unquote friends, but he can't control his friends, so I did. At the moment, Pierce is living a double life in the Commonwealth, a hero of the Minutemen and the Railroad, and in Nuka World as a bloodthirsty overboss. He did hear the plight of the market slaves, and he does have the option to put an end to the raiders. The operators are already wiped out, so I wouldn't take much time to finish the job. And in the Commonwealth Sanctuary and Starlight Drive-In have become lived-in cities booming with activity. Which leads me to my next subject, the mods. I mentioned earlier how my character is overpowered. Some people may frown upon this, but with limited playtime, I like being OP and raffle stomping whatever I come across. This is my 5th playthrough, and in this one, I don't feel the need of a challenge. So I'm not ashamed to use Armorsmith Extended, legendary modifications with 2 legendary effects, and cheap portable terminal. I don't go overboard, though. The glowing sea still hurts, and ambushes, especially close quarters, can kill. In fact, my main weapon, a 2-shot explosive sniper laser, can kill me in 2 shots. With its splash damage alone and aggro any friendlies I may hit by accident. Which is why my secondary is the automatic plasma rifle with the 2-kilometer long name. Which reminds me of something mentioned in the podcast. What is the most powerful rifle? Well, with maxed out rifleman, I made a 2-shot Gauss rifle that did about 700 damage. And that's with 1 legendary effect. With 2, you can get somewhere close to 1,200. To give an idea how powerful this is, it one-shots legendary behemoths. But the naysayers will say that's no fun, right?
Yeah.
And in closing, the announcement of the Creation Club. To be frank, this is not the first time I see paid mods. In the flight sim community, the best mods
Flight sim.
The best mods, be they aircraft, terrain, or scenery, can cost a pretty penny. Of course, the goal here is to allow people to make their simulators as realistic as possible, and a lot of flight sim users are actual pilots. I'm sure some Skyrim and Fallout modders deserve to receive some reward for the great work they have done. But at the same time, everybody hates paying for anything. I can see both systems. Say the club and Nexus working side by side, but it'll be very hard to have an opinion one way or the other until more detail is revealed. I hope they've learned from the mistake Valve made. We'll see. Well, that was a long one. I know you may not be able to read this monstrosity of an email word for word on the podcast, but Andrew will make us. So feel free to cut it up and go for the highlights. As I said, I'd love to be able to make it in one chat room during recording. I have a few vacation blocks coming up, so I'll keep my eyes peeled. Thank you very much, and we'll see you in the wasteland.
Well, shoot, Benoit, we'll just have to pull you up on the show here sometime. We'll work with your vacation blocks, and we'll have you on. What is raffle stomping?
It just means that you laugh in the face of danger.
That rolling on the floor, laughing, stomping. What is raffle?
When you beat the shit out of somebody, Andrew.
What's it stand for? I'm confused.
I don't know. What's a plate?
Yeah, exactly. What the hell's a plate? Thanks, Benoit, for the great email there. Yeah.
Thank you, Benoit, for the great email. I'm sorry if I butchered your prose. I did my best. Andrew's going to take me to task and fire me after this episode.
Oh, no way, man. That's awesome that you explained to me how I accidentally opened that door in the Nuka-Cola plant. I was running around back in the behind the scenes areas and accidentally opened up the door to get because I was like, well, how the fuck did you get that power armor the first time I was there? So I went back to get it again, and then I accidentally just sort of stumbled out, and the door was already open. I was like, well, shit, I guess I did some stuff and opened the door accidentally. So that's actually good that you told me how I accidentally did that. So thanks, Benoit. And yeah, of course, we'll have you on an upcoming episode here sometime. That's great. Thank you for your feedback and all your great play along stuff. Yeah, wonderful. Thanks so much for writing in. And Paul, you sent an email in too, and I was sort of blown away by all of your notes and everything. Was there anything you wanted to mention from your email? I know that it was just basically sort of screenshots and all sorts of stuff, but that's really cool how you put that all together.
Well, I played it on Sunday, so I knew it would I'd probably start fading from memory, so I decided to write everything down on Sunday.
That's great. And you just have it all nice and neat together with screenshots all just sort of implanted into the email there. Where I'm over here, I've got like my pen and paper. I've got a little notebook where I'm scratching sort of like side notes and sort of can barely read my own chicken scratch handwriting. And you've got these nice presentations you could present at like a, to be graded as sort of like a class project or something here.
Yeah, there's a mod called Reshade that affects some of the video display, the shading materials in the game. And among the things it does is it allows you to more easily take screenshots and not have to send it up to Steam all the time. So
nice.
Well, congratulations, Paul. You've just been conscripted into the Roundtable. Andrew is going to be giving you notes and telling you what you need to do to make the Roundtable more effective in the future.
Yeah, that's what I do. I give out responsibility to other people. I'm good at that. Not have to do anything myself. So that's great. That's all I have for the evening. Paul or Denny, do you guys have anything that you would like to get into?
I would like to say I'm very excited. I booked my hotel room for Philly Podfest. So
wonderful. Philly Podfest.
Very much looking forward to that on July 16th at Tattooed Moms.
Anybody on the Eastern Seaboard, come to the Philly Podfest on that weekend of July 15th, 16th, 17th. We'll be there on, like Denny said, the 16th, I believe. Is it 5 p.m. at Tattooed Moms?
5 p.m., yes.
Yeah. So please, anyone out on that area, we'd love to have we're going to have a little throwdown, have everyone come together, and we'll meet everyone who's a fan of ASA podcasting. So please, anyone in the area, come and meet us, make some arrangements, drive down, get a hotel, stay the night, hang out with us. It'll be great fun. All right. So I guess that's all I have for the evening. Again, we already said quest for next time. I'll remind everybody here, we do have an Amazon link that I never actually mentioned, but at asapodcasting.com. There, if you just click on the asapodcasting.com, you have our Amazon link, and you get like special discounts on video games and stuff like that if you're part of the Amazon whatever Prime and all that. So if you pre-order games, you get a discount. Whatever. Just use that Amazon link for us, please, because after we have met our website hosting costs for the year, all of our Amazon money we just rolled directly into the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. So that also we should mention that we have a marathon. Our yearly marathon will be coming up sometime this fall or early winter. That is also a fundraising event for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. So click on our Amazon link. That's really great. Anyone out there, please join our Facebook group, because that is where we get most of our great interactions done. It's on facebook.com/groups/A Skyrim Addict Podcast. You can also find us on Twitter at The Fallout Feed. Our email again is thefalloutfeed@gmail.com. Twitch, we're going to start getting that Twitch stream with a little bit more activity. So let's go over to twitch.tv/ASA Podcasting.
And one more quick shameless plug. We have ASA Game Talks episode 50 coming in the near future. So we want to congratulate Jeremy on his coming episode 50 and all the millions of special guests that I'm sure he will have on that show.
Wow, that's going to be amazing. So yes, congratulations to ASA Game Talk and Jeremy on 50 strong episodes. Thank you so much for being a great member in our community and having a great podcast. So congratulations to Game Talk on 50 strong episodes.
No pressure, Jeremy.
Yep, no pressure. Got to do another 50, another 500 if you can. All right, man. That's all I got tonight. Denny, thank you so much for hopping on. And Paul, it was wonderful to meet you. And please, we'll have you on again soon.
Thank you.
All right. We'll see you in the wasteland, everybody.
Thank you for downloading this episode of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. If you are interested in doing a play-along character with us, the show can be contacted by emailing falloutroundtable@gmail.com. For the Roundtable schedule, our Amazon link, and all other show information, please head on over to asapodcasting.com. where you will find the Fallout Feed, a Skyrimatic podcast, our YouTube channel, the Chatterbox, as well as other content. Once again, thank you for downloading, and we'll see you in the wasteland.